Today I'm going to make the golf swing super easy for you. I've got two drills which anybody can do, which are going to make the golf swing just feel so simple. So we're going to get you to take your hands and place them across your shoulders and get yourself into a rough posture that you would be for a mid-iron. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be looking at what we can do or how we can think about a really good backswing move and a really good downswing move. We need that. The body is really important. It's instrumental in what the golf club does, so we've got to get that body moving well. Poor golf swings, poor shapes of swings, poor strikes will often come because we're getting all different types of movements in the body which we don't really want. So, buttons on my top. I have got buttons on, you can't see them, it's under my jumper. Zip, whatever it may be, or just think about this area of your body here. Now, I'm going to take a tee. In fact, I'm going to use a little device I've got in here. It's going to be easier. This is a pointer. We're going to put that on my upper body. So when I set up the ball, what does this do? It points down to the ground. Okay, really important. So downwards towards the ground. Watch what happens as I make my backswing. Where does it point? Down towards the ground? Definitely not. It's now pointing pretty much horizontally out away from me, pretty much straight back towards that camera there. What would happen as I transitioned into my downswing? Not a million miles away from where it was at setup, sort of back down towards the ground. And then where would it be as I go through to my finish? Well, it's actually now more up towards the sky. That was where it was in the backswing, up towards the sky. If your body movement is poor, you've got a sway or you've got a slide or a tilt, wherever it may be, you won't get that. So those of you who have big sways, notice how it's still down at the ground. Those of you who have sort of slides, again, I can't get it to rotate that way. The right movement is down, up, down, sky. I'll show that again. Starts down, more up, back down, more sky. Now, because I'm thinking about this and I'm trying to get that to reference, different places relative to me, what happens underneath that, hips, knees, feet, have to move correctly in order to make that happen. So we can have a really simple external thought, which is kind of, in this case, where is that pointer facing or where is your tee facing? And then you're going to basically self-organize in order to do that. And that's the real beauty of this drill, is that we're getting a really simple external focus and you're allowing yourself to think about how you organise your body in order to achieve that. I love this exercise. Stand in front of the mirror, look in the mirror, look in the reflection, down, up, down, up. And then start to blend that together. Great, I love it, try it. I really encourage everybody to try it. It's going to unlock those movements that you want. That centered turn where we're not swaying. It's going to help you shift your pressure between the feet without swaying. It's going to help you get through the golf ball into this beautiful position at the top. Let me hit one and then you'll see what that looks like when I actually make a golf swing. So just have a look at where that chest would point through this motion. There's my finish. Chest is up. So we've now got the body working around ourselves pretty quickly. Let me just set up the next drill and get the club and the arms moving. So this is the second part to our drill. I've used two alignment sticks, get something similar, golf clubs would work absolutely fine. And I've just created a channel around my golf ball, and that channel is aligned towards the flag that's in the distance. And I've also placed a tee in the end of my grip. So this channel, you can see it's probably 1, 2, maybe 2.5, 3 club head widths wide, and it's obviously around the golf ball. So if I take my address, what we're looking for here is, during the backswing motion, we're looking at where that tee sort of points. So imagine that was an arrow coming out of the golf club. At setup, it obviously points sort of back towards me. But let me show you when I get towards halfway back in my backswing. What you'll notice is, with any luck, that tee points pretty much into that channel, okay, give or take. And you'll notice that from the face on, the tee is pointing straight down towards the ground. Now, for me to do that, there was two things that had to happen. I had to, and we can isolate these at the start, in that movement away from the ball, I had to take my wrists and I had to move them in this direction. Wrist set, wrist cock, wrist hinge, whichever term you want, that had to happen. I also had to take my forearms, and I'll just do this with my lead forearm, but obviously right was on the club as well, and I would have to rotate that forearm through 90 degrees. So you can see those two movements put me here. If I get this hand on the club, now if I simply think about my chest and moving my chest up to face that camera that's behind me, what happens? We get that position that we were just in before. You can see how T points between the two alignment sticks into that zone, and obviously from that face on, it's pointing down at the ground. So by taking this T and pointing it between the alignment sticks, we're actually making a relatively complicated movement. We're using our wrist to set the club, we're rotating our forearm through 90 degrees, and we're doing that as a blended movement as we're using our body. That's what the great players do. They all do that. They all do it slightly differently, and you might see some angles where it's a little steeper, a little shallower. You might see some where they set the wrist a little later, a little earlier. Yes, you're going to get variations, but essentially, you're never going to get anybody, bar maybe Matt Wolf, who's doing something that's completely different like this. These movements are really common. This rolled takeaway, well, you can see I can't get that T to point into the area there. If I've got that sort of sway with my upper body where my chest points down, again, it becomes really hard. So I can just stand here, and my two thoughts in the backswing are buttons on my shirt, face that camera, T goes into that zone. And I could literally just stand here and make those rehearsals. And there's no reason why I can't just swing through and let the golf ball get in the way. That drill is ticking off so many of the things that have to be in the golf swing. We're making, as I said, that really nice rotation, that nice pivot. And on top of that good pivot, we're getting the arms to move correctly. We're getting them to hinge, set, fold, all of those things that we need to do. And then we can start, as we've done there, we can start to put that together into a movement. And when we start to put it together into a movement, that's when it becomes a golf swing. And remember, it is a golf swing. The golf club needs to flow around your body. So, you know, if you can, try and make these movements as free-flowing as possible. So I'm just going to rehearse it. Chest up, T into zone. Chest up, T into zone. Chest up to the sky. Simple thoughts, effective results. That's a great way for you to sort of strip it back, get back to basics. Or if you're the opposite end of the spectrum and you're a golfer, learn the right movements. So try those two drills. Think about where the chest points, think about where that T points, and you can build yourself a really easy and simple golf swing that gets you pretty good results most of the time.